Hi, everyone. My name is Dzmitry. I represent Stillsoft, a Platinum Marketplace partner from Estonia. During this conference, we've seen lots of interesting ways to work with data in Jira. Today, I'm going to give you a slightly different angle to this story. As you probably have noticed, the Atlassian world has changed. For the last 2 decades, most people associated Atlassian software only with Jira. You know, the tool that software developers use at work. Today, this mental model is long out of date. After years of selling individual products, now we have the system of work, a place for everyone inside the company. Atlassian has been on a mission to unleash the potential of every team since their IPO in 2015, or even earlier, honestly. It took them 10 years to finally overcome the old perception and achieve a perfect split between technical and business users. Let this sink in for a moment. Today, 50% of Atlassian's users are in finance, HR, marketing, and other similar teams. They bring totally different ways of working and information needs to the platform. Their universe is text, multimedia, and spreadsheets rather than code repos and workflows. They still use Jira for planning and tracking, but Confluence is where their work happens and lives. Now, it's much more than a documentation dump or a knowledge base. It's a living space where teams spend most of their working time. For many customers, it turns out even more expensive than Jira due to higher user count. Still, it remains just a wiki for many of them, a huge underuse, in my opinion. Now, Jira contains a whole lot of work and execution data, but self-contained dashboards lack the context that only the teams doing the work can provide. They are a great invitation for the meeting, just not the meeting itself. Atlassian State of Teams 2025 showed that cross-functional work is much more common than we can think. As a marketing leader, I can fully confirm this. For me, shared context is gold. In my job, Jira solves for who's doing what and when, but all the deliverables, processes, documents, and reports live elsewhere. So let's take a look at how we can bridge this gap in the Atlassian system of work. Companies try to consolidate their SaaS portfolios, but an average team still uses 11 apps every single day, according to Gartner. This isn't just about the abundance of options available in the market, it's about different ways of working, ways of thinking, human personalities and preferences. We can clearly see the difference in how roles across the company work with data. For most teams that do the work, all that matters is ongoing tracking and quick preparation for a meeting. Their time span is quite short. Think about a quarterly report. Analysts, operations, and finance embrace a much longer horizon and more sophisticated approach. They need a structured data model with centralized metrics across projects and teams so they can analyze long-term trends and predict future performance. The leadership, let's be honest, most of them don't want to ever log into Jira. All they want is live information about what's going on and high-level business results, ideally in one place. We also have the admins, a different species altogether. They mostly care about whether the instance is working well and if people use it the right way. Different data needs mean these roles will choose different tools. But all of them need access to reliable data in one place where they can meet and work together. Bringing this information into Confluence helps reduce silos and makes knowledge available to both humans and AI. This allows teams to retain more context and share their lessons learned with an entire company. Remember all those meetings that could have been an email? They can be Confluence pages just as well. Here, people can add their own content next to the dashboard gadgets and discuss them in the comments, all on the same page. With just a couple of additions to our Atlassian toolset, we can build the ultimate reporting stack for every team. Adding eazyBI and table-filtered charts and spreadsheets for Confluence will allow us to connect Jira data, Confluence content, and external sources into a single comprehensive story. Let's see how it looks in practice. Different people will ask their Jira different questions, even when they look at the same data. We have a tight timeline today, so we'll take it simply with two approaches, operational and analytical. Here's Natalie, a cross-functional team leader. Her basic job is to keep up with what the teams are working on and spot blockers quickly. With one team, it's easy to look through the Jira project, right? But for multiple teams, it takes too much time. With the table filter, charts, and spreadsheets app, she can create a single overview as a filterable, paginated Confluence table based on Jira work items from multiple projects. Slicing the view to get from hundreds of work items to just a few takes a couple of clicks now. By the way, one of our customers has over 40 projects in such a table. In the next step, she can turn it into a full spreadsheet, just like the ones she knows from Excel, but right on the Confluence page. Now she can use calculated columns and conditional formatting to read the view even faster. The next Natalie's job is to analyze ongoing work data and check if there's something to fix or escalate. Preparing to team performance reviews or noticing a sudden spike in open support tickets now takes a single Confluence page. Every chart is a standalone macro gadget that can take live data from the same or a different source. Also, every chart is interactive, so Natalie can zoom in and out however she likes. If she decides to show the connected table underneath the chart, filtering it will change how the chart looks like, and vice versa. Last but not least, stakeholder management. Most reports Natalie creates are meant for the company leadership to consume. Laying out a quick roadmap long before the project lands in Jira can take just a couple of minutes and a simple table that displays as a proper Gantt chart. Over time, we can build up on it to show more complex dependencies and combine live information from Jira work items with other connected sources. Explaining why the new release is so important or what's delaying the due date is never easy. We all know that. A live interactive dashboard on a Confluence page can make this discussion async and less stressful. The bosses can subscribe to any report like this by simply liking the page or adding it to their bookmarks. Detailed documentation is as important as its high-level summary. So Natalie can easily combine content from different pages in a single table, via table excerpt or using the page properties report. Then add a pivot summary or more advanced calculations on top without affecting the source pages. Let's switch perspectives and take a look through an analyst lens. This is Martin, our ops manager. In simple terms, his number one job is to analyze what happened historically, spot repetitive patterns, and try to predict the future based on what he sees in the data. Similar mechanics, but with a different logic and a larger data set. When Martin finds something worth attention, he will want to share it with others. It becomes possible with eazyBI for Confluence. There, he can add a detailed explanation on top of his report, so people will get their answers without even having to ask questions. Or they can just start a common thread. A very important operations question is about systemic bottlenecks. Not just single sprint blockers. Martin looks for things that repeatedly get in the way of moving faster. This is the kind of workflow diagnostics that can work only if we zoom out on the timeline. Notice how this cross-project view is different from the team leaders table. Martin can analyze the average work item age across projects only when he has enough data at hand and makes sure it's calculated the same way in each project. Natalie would have to know SQL to do the same job inside Confluence. Instead, she can just take a look at the report embedded from eazyBI. And of course, there's the metadata layer, so important for Atlassian admins. Their job is taking care of the instance health and monitoring its usage over time. When the users start reporting in Confluence more actively, Martin will notice it instantly. He can see the list of power users and drill down into what exactly they do, so he knows who to contact in case of questions. Also, tool adoption is an admin's KPI, so they'll be really happy to see the growing chart. Now, every time Martin tells me there's an outdated manual somewhere everyone on the team is still using, I want to buy him a beer next time we meet. With eazyBI for Confluence, he would get drunk really fast. People tend to forget about updating documentation, so hints like this can be worth millions. You can have them for a fraction of that. neatly placed on a Confluence page. I could go on like this for hours. Sky's the limit with reporting in the Atlassian toolset. It took us 2 days to go through everything, and we are not in the middle. But we have 20-minute stops, so let's sum up what we've seen so far. In the system of work full of diverse teams, Confluence can become the source of truth for data-driven insights and decisions. To unlock this, we should empower teams to build interactive content based on their workspaces and other connected tools. This will literally keep everyone on the same Confluence page. There, cross-functional teams will share findings, add context, discuss trade-offs, and record decisions. Their AI teammates will be able to work with the same knowledge that humans already have, helping answer their questions more quickly and accurately. We can cover the reporting needs of every team with a stack of just 3 marketplace apps on top of Jira and Confluence. This way, each team can choose their comfortable way of working with the same data, and then meet together in a shared workspace to discuss the results. They can build a shared understanding based on a unified workflow that spans across the whole organization. Collect raw inputs from various sources, transform them into a usable dataset, ask the right questions to build useful views, and share the answers where more people can see them. The goal is to help teams see the same picture in the same place at any given time. I invite you to get out of the cube and elevate your system of work with live, interactive, and accessible data in Confluence. Thank you.